Yat bene she yet Jim Harrison de Shajane. She brought New Mexico da Igus Nasha. Gilachin is not hatching a bash's chain. Good morning. My name is Jimmy Harrison. I'm originally from the Shipwreck area, from the Four Corners there. I'm from the Red House clan on my mother's side, and also Red Run Into Water on my father's side. I'm doing a little project on behalf of Navajo Friends Association regarding organic farming, climate change, and COVID-19. And we'll be visiting with a couple of people, the first being Gary Clark from Shiprock, who does his farming along the river. And we're going to go south to Joseph City, and we'll be visiting with Albert Chase. So hopefully everything goes well, and we'll be talking to you very shortly. How going at for now?
Yaat she Albert Brent Chasey in this year. Ado and the dati koto clean hadeti hodieto nasha. And I'm from the Navajo Nation, and I have my Hogons out here that come for a little bit of sanctuary and a place to kind of reflect, a place to kind of catch myself from the busy world out there. Out here, when you come to our place here on our original place on the Navajo land, it's just a totally different world. It's a place where it's quiet, and it takes you back as our ancestors have enjoyed the land long ago. And so I still hold on to and love that type of life because I think it is instilled in me. So whatever I've experienced in my tribe and my culture and my language, I have become an instructor of the very things that are sentimental to me from who I am as a Navajo person. And I use that and forward my teachings, forward my blessings that I have been blessed with, and I forward it to my students from kindergarten all the way into college age students. And so I have been instructing Navajo language and culture for 30 years or so now. And I'm also a basket maker. I do the traditional Navajo baskets as well as other baskets that are colorful out of the sumac plant that we use. The sumac plant is what we use as Navajo people to create our baskets with. And so I do that as well. Well, I do actually have about maybe 6 to 8 sumac plants that I have planted near my home, and they're now full adult sumac. So I cut them every year, care for them, and they get new growth that just sprout out. And those new growth are very important to the basket making as well as the lacing work of the sumac. And so I'm fortunate that the ground has taken it well to be able to have the sumac grow. So now I don't have to go to those natural places where they grow in the mountains and near streams and look for them, because I have them right here in my home now. So just a little tender loving care for those plants. They will make their home where they are cared for, and I feel fortunate that I've had sumac growing right on my premises in Joseph City. The natural growth of the land, like the wall onions and the wall carrots, and there are other leafy plants that we use for seasoning. And then of course the herbs, because all my grandparents were herbalists, so they really depended on the land to harvest the natural herbs and medicinal plants that take an important part in the healing as healing properties for our people who may get ailed with something or sick with something. And so they were very important. It was very important to them. So, and of course, when right now is a time to prepare seeds and to prepare and plan what you're going to plant and harvest and take care of, and at the end, have a good harvest with it. And so our planning to get the seeds and get them ready is right now, and that's what I'm doing right now. And within another couple of weeks or so, we're going to be planting. And when the Pleiades, the star, the Pleiades is has disappeared, then that's when we begin to plant.
It's very interesting.
And so I use that to try to. I don't have to, I guess, because a lot of the farmers, they plant a lot earlier. But for us, we had to respect the travel of the Pleiades. And when the Pleiades disappear and you can't see them anymore is when you start planting. And so that's what I do. I haven't, because of my busyness, haven't gone outside to see where they're located at. But it feels even. You get used to even that spiritual connection. It feels that the seeds are ready they're calling to you. And these seeds, they call to you and they tell you it's time to be planted. And that was the spiritual connection that my grandparents, as well as our elders and so on, our ancestors had. And so there were prayers that were done where we're going to plant, and we would put an offering there on our garden, our field, and begin to cultivate it. And so the prayer was the one that comes first. And then, of course, there's songs that are attached to each part of each section of planting. And right now, I would say my feeling for my corn and my seedlings, I would sing a song that I feel is connecting to me, and I'm connecting with them. And it goes a little, I'll just do a short.
Thank you.
Just a short melody there. It's a beautiful melody, and that melody follows all the way to where the pollen shows, and then the corn began to show. And that same melody carries through the process of the growth of the corn. And so that song would be sung during those times to the plants, because the plant is living and it has a spiritual entity. And we use the pollen when it's time. We harvest the pollen in our containers so that we have more to offer with our spiritual realm of life. I never waste my seeds. All the seeds, all my family know that when they eat a harvest, that they save seeds. So I have abundant of seeds. Last year I planted the red squash, and the red squash was very successful in my area.
Good, very good.
And so I'm saving all the seeds, and I'm excited to get the red squash, which is kind of traditional to our people. They can grow round, or they can get oblong and really, they're almost like a pumpkin, but they have their own unique taste, and it's really good. I took a trip out to the reservation out further in Shiprock area, and I knew that people will be selling their harvests, and I thought there's something that I'd like to try different. And I thought the red squash, because my great-grandparents and grandparents used to do that, but we haven't had that for a while. So I thought, if anywhere, I'd go out there to my people. And so the influence of what my people do out there, I went and I found someone that harvested red squash, and I bought a whole bunch of them. And I ate them and then saved the seeds and then replanted it, and it was very successful. So we have a brand new school, and then they have a nice greenhouse that they have built. And the school knows that me and Garrick are versed with planting and showing how to do. So that might be kind of one of the cultural aspect of our tribe to share when it's time. And we were kind of helped up to do that. And then when the COVID era came in, it just kind of put everything on halt. But we still do Zoom, and we still teach about the seasons. And now the talk is about seeds and what kind of plants. What we do, we might do a little experiment with them to plant in a little planter and let them see how the seeds will come out. And so that might be our little project we'll do till the end of school. So and me and Garrick right now are working on units. Right now I have a unit about, and our main seedling, since we're talking about seedlings, our main seed of our units is k'eh, the word k'eh, which means relationship. And so it's k'eh with horan, the teaching of the home. Just that is a whole unit. And then k'eh with just the corn, a whole unit. K'eh with sad, our language. Earlier I sang a song, and I said in my language, Shishitan, Shikatsodilzin, meaning the corn kernels are praying for me. They're praying for my attention to them. That's what I sang. And so I hear them. And now I take the corn and I begin to dig in the ground, and I begin to put them into the ground. And there's a song for that. And it goes a little bit in a short song. And it goes a little bit like this. Look, I'd like it all, yeah, she da, la, God like it all, yeah, she da, la, God like it all, yeah, that's the next song. And then it's longer, they're longer songs, but I'm just giving you just the main part of the action that is taken with the corn. And so I said that I plant my corn now. I plant my corn now. First it prayed to me, and it called out to me. I gave it its attention and got it ready. And now I will plant it. And so that song is saying that the action of actually taking the corn and now kitolia, and that's what it means. And so then from there, it starts to root, and it starts to grow, and it starts to come out of the ground. And even that has a song. And so it makes itself present, and then it starts growing, and you can begin to see it. She da lo Kadlahanit an eya sheye sheta eye la Kadlahanot an eya sheye sheta eye la Kadlahanot an halangai neya. And so the song accompanies the different stages of the corn. And it's a beautiful teaching about the connection we have with our sacred plant, the corn. Somewhere in history, the Navajo, the earth surface people, there were, I think it's something to do with the monsters. And back in the times when the monsters were roaming and destruction was happening, diseases were breaking out, unseen monsters were being destructive to the people. And they went through a hard time. They went through a hard time, a hard life. And there was a lot of death. There was a lot of confusion, a lot of heartbreak, and a lot of displacement of the people, of their homeland, of their homes, just because of these horrible things that were roaming. And they prayed, we need something to tell us what do we do? Where do we go from here? We're lost, we're hurt, and we're displaced, and there's death upon our people. And so they prayed about it. And somewhere along the way, they saw these beams. They're yellow type beams that were kind of beaming into the sky. And so they followed those beams. They were tired, and they were distressed, and they had no energy, and their foods were gone. So they would scavenge for just anything to keep themselves alive. And when they came upon these three beams, and these three beams were the tip of the corn beaming into the sky. And that's what they followed, that sacred Trakohatitin. That Trakohatitin means the three beams streaming into the sky. And there they walked upon a cornfield. And it was the light from the pollen that was beaming into the sky to show them to come there. And when they came there, the holy beings told them that this is where your sanctuary is. This is your saving grace. This is a change for you if you follow this way of life. And this way of life was to pray with that Tadadin, the pollen. That's where the pollen was created, to pray with, so it would show us the way like a beaming light. Mm-hmm. That's what our people followed. And I always remember that story because I could picture it in my mind as they told the story, what was going on. And I've never forgotten that picture. The thunder gods, the rain gods are holding themselves back. And this is according to my grandma. She was a wonderful teacher. And she said that back in the day of our ancestors, we always had practice giving nkliz, which are little tiny semi-precious stones that we would have always, just like our pollen bag or any cedar bag, whatever we pray with. We will always have that too, because those were used as offering for the rain gods. Mm-hmm. And we would go to where there might be where water flows, or if water is flowing, that would be where we go to give a little bit to the water. or we go to trips onto the oceans nearby, and we would give the offerings to the water, so that it would always remember us, that it will always come back to us. The rain gods and the rain spirits would always know, oh, there's prayers that have been done here. There's been offering. Our spiritual food has been given. So let's go bless them with abundance of water. We don't do that anymore. And I'm very embarrassed and saddened to say that we don't practice it that much. Although many of our traditional people have it in their heart and they know it, that these are things that have to be done. Only occasionally you'll hear that there is offering that's going to be done specifically for the rain and the moisture and the waters that are here upon the earth. I think 2 years ago, there was one done here in our area where a lot of the medicine men came and did that offering. I was invited to go, but I was not able to go. But it was good to hear that that was going to happen. So the traditional people are beginning to know and beginning to feel that importance, that we should continue these traditions. Otherwise, it will affect our climate. It will affect our water source, and it seems that way. My grandma would always say that. I don't hear anybody putting the offerings for the thunder and for the rain, and the less you hear, it seems like you can see through the years the changes of less water and less rain appearing on our lands. And she would say that's probably why. It's because we're not giving the spiritual connection with the water sources, as well as the water gods and the water spirits, because they are living too. You know, they are part of this land. They move across the land. They don't just stay still. They make their movements, and they make themselves appear. They are living. And so those living beings that used to bless us, we don't show appreciation and the spiritual connection with them. That's why they're beginning to leave us. I've been affected by that myself. I think every family on our reservation has been affected, and if they hadn't, they're very lucky. And I lost my mother through COVID. She recovered from COVID, but it damaged her heart and took her out quickly. Without any warning, she was gone just like that. So I was affected, so I totally understand what our people are going through emotionally and the hardship that it has caused. And we have been warned by our elders again that it always scares me that I still remember them saying that it's going to be related to our language. It's going to be related to our culture. It's going to be related to the world on how they show respect to Mother Earth, as well as all the living things within the earth. That was what our people say, is that we were put upon this earth to live in harmony and in peace with all things. That all things that are living would have to be respected and live in harmony with. They have songs, they have prayers, they have things as part of our our teaching lessons. They teach us how to survive, and in return, we use some of them to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And if we disrespect that, the natural world, it will send something of their monsters upon us. And sometimes when Mr. Trump says this China virus, it's not the Chinese, it's not the sickness of theirs, it's a sickness brought to them by another being. And of course the suspicion of the animal world and how they were disrespected. Well, they unleashed some of their protection, their protection to us for disrespecting. And that, whatever they unleashed to us, their protection, they don't know. They just know us as the earth surface people. It doesn't matter what tribe or what color or what people we are. When something is unleashed from the natural world, and this is the animal world, it can be devastating. And sometimes we on the other side of the world, we got it. We didn't know the proper prayers for it. We didn't know the proper language to acknowledge it, except that it was an invisible monster that has been unleashed upon us. We didn't know what kind of prayers or medicinal plants we should use, because this was strange to us, just like it has in history. And many times we just tell about how smallpox came in and wiped out most of the people. We didn't know what smallpox was or any other diseases. It's kind of in the same stepping stone of that. And this was unleashed to us in this modern day, when we think that technology is going to, and all these studies that we do will protect us. Well, I'll tell you, Mother Earth and all the living things in it have their own power, that sometimes these modern day studies or these modern technologies and medicine, is probably completely Mickey Mouse compared to what they can unleash even more. And my grandma would always say that you never underestimate the power of Mother Earth and all its living beings. We call it God being, which means the journey song. And life is a journey, and this song is appropriate for that. Hey nay yang a day big and a shy a day big and a shy how long way nay yang a got la na hosan nay big and a shy nanet asa na way nanet a big a Hozho nay big and a shy day big and a Shaya day big and a shanga long way ne yang a got laya the hies ane big and a shaya nanet asa na way nanet a big a Hozho ane big and a shaya day big and a shaya day big and a shanga how long way ne yang a got lots of song ane big and a shaya nanet asa na way nanet a big a Hozho ane big and a shaya day big and a shaya day big and a shanga how long way ne yang a got la tro a song ane big and a shaya nanet asa na way nanet a big a Hozho ane big and a shaya day big and a shaya Deya big and Nashanga Holangai Neya Gad Hashayalti Ania big and Nasha ye nanet asa anangai nanet abig Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha ye deya big and Nashanga Holangai Neya Gad Hashayalti Ania big and Nasha ye nanet asa anangai nanet abig Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha Holangai Neya Gad Lahayot Kalas Ania big and Nasha ye nanet asa anangai nanet abig Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha Halangai Neya Gad La Chahashkeyes Ania big and Nasha ye nanet asa anangai nanet abig Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha Halangai Neya Gad Nata Ashkala Ania big and Nasha ye nanet asa anangai nanet abig Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha Halangai Neya Gad Nata Atsui Ania big and Nasha ye nanet asa anangai nanet abig Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha Halangai Neya Gad Latchatetin Ania big and Nasha ye nanet asa anangai nanet abig Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha Halangai Neya Gad La Anestan Ania big and Nasha ye nanet asa anangai nanet abig Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha Halangai Neya Shitze Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye shikesh Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye shiyagi Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye shikeki Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye shinate ta'ato Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye shizate Hozho Ania big and Nasha ye Gad sa anangai Gad big Hozho neshineshli Ania big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha ye deya big and Nasha Golagane. And let the song be a blessing to everybody around the world. Yes, it's a song from our people, the Dene, but we are all earth surface holy people, no matter what color, what language, and what culture we come from, what we're headed to, which is destruction right now, back to a peaceful place to live. Thank you.